cast. You cannot test it, can you?
I can go to people who can.
You can't. No, you.
No, I don't have the equipment, but if I had the equipment, I could test it.
If you had the equipment, maybe you can test it.
An argument on the fact because I don't have the tools available to do the job. I'm not capable of doing the job. That would be crazy. You're not arguing.
I'm saying.
You're not saying.
I am saying. Right, all we're dealing with is interpretations.
Of everything is interpretations, but the skill is in making the best interpretation
based on
and the best
assumptions.
Okay.
A lot of assumptions.
Everything is based on assumptions, but the best interpretation is the one that creates the most.
I'm glad that you admit it. That most of science is based on assumptions.
It's always begging the question.
Okay,
the globe is always begging the question.
I'm primarily here for the philosophy, so I know that
Starts with
everything is
begging the
ultimately
How far
based
away
on
is the
assumptions.
sun?
Everything under the globe.
I can look it up for you.
Supposedly 93 million miles, yeah?
Don't let him get off redshift.
Okay.
We've got on the road.
They've changed the distance 5
Let me
times.
look up redshift. Okay. Look up redshift. Okay. Let me change my
My paradigm is that I haven't looked into it.
Right. Okay.
There's a huge amount of this thing, so I haven't looked into everything. If you expect me to know everything,
no, I don't. I appreciate your honesty, and you may be right. I'm looking at methodology, but in methodological terms, given that you haven't looked yet, but our representatives have looked.
The point is,
could you give the possibility that maybe the data? So let me finish. Maybe the data they're bringing to the table is relevant because it's totally self-consistent with their premise, but it's not self-consistent with yours. So maybe you should
just because I don't know doesn't mean it's not self-consistent.
I already conceded
I don't know that.
But I'm saying,
so you can't make that assumption.
I just did. I
no,
said that
you can't make that assumption just because I don't know it's not self-consistent.
All I said was
because I could go to another flat earther and he might have looked into it.
Good.
I don't know.
All I said was either of us could be right, but my test of a good model is one which is self-consistent given the maximum amount of data.
That I don't happen to know.
On all topics.
Actually, the point that you've got flat earthers. The point that you've got flat earthers is that we're looking at your model. It doesn't work.
Well, you're not looking at some of the data we're trying to show you that you don't seem to want to look at, which has to do with redshift, and our model is entirely.
You're hanging on to this just because I couldn't answer it.
I'm not hanging on.
Okay, so question. Sorry?
So
all the videos. So
say again.
Private spaceflight is taking off right now.
Sorry, you're blocking his camera.
And there's not a single video. A rocket leaves up. They have video footage from ground to space, and it's yes they do.
CGI,
That work in my favour. That works against me.
Yeah, it's green screens and CGI. You've got to think about that.
I bought a green screen bottle. How stupid of me. Seriously, the guy is funny. You can move across a bit.
There's a camera on
Really
ground space. You can see the entire dark.
Cool. But their water does show something, doesn't it? Their water will show us what level it's
I can't hear you. It's getting louder and louder here. Sorry. Let me try one thing at a time.
Yeah, you focus on their...
I would be very inclined to disagree.
Right. So what I did, right? I took a video from YouTube of the space shuttle filmed from a passenger jet. Okay. So when that space shuttle took off,
All right, go ahead.
when the space shuttle took off, the moment it passed the horizon, right? Because the horizon always rises up to eye level. That means that horizon is 7 miles up, okay? Because from the viewpoint of that plane at 35,000 feet, 7 miles up, right? The horizon was right there. That means 7 miles up, 35,000 feet, okay?
Okay, sure.
Right, so that was a measuring stick we've now got, 7 miles, yeah? Now I literally took all the pictures of this video, I took snapshots of the video, yeah? And pieced together the entire curve of that takeoff, yeah? And extended the measuring stick.
Okay, and the important thing is, it was always to the eye level of the observer.
Okay, so plane's coming this way. Let me clarify what the video is. So passenger jet coming here. So okay, this is the rocket, right? Let's say this is the space shuttle.
Listen to what he said first.
He's
saying the rocket's gone up, and the eye level, the horizon has not. It's always the same to what he's looking at.
From the passenger jet.
At this point in time, you need an imagination. Because what that means is...
I prefer video proof.
Okay,
sure. Imagine.
No, you're the only guy on the planet.
Just listen, this is really important, right? So just imagine this is the horizon.
Yeah.
We're rising. and it's always to the eye view of the observer, what does that tell you? What does that tell you?
I'm not even understanding your question.
Right,
sorry.
because
Maybe
that's why you don't get all this.
Okay, what's the scenario? What's the scenario?
No, you're right.
Could you answer my question? This is
Well,
where the
you handle
passenger
it from here, Dave. You handle it from here.
So what's the video? So space shuttle is rising.
So
This
there's
passenger-
aircraft going along here.
Okay.
Space shuttle's rising.
Okay.
Right, so
PhD
the
people and
horizon
scientists,
is
they don't
always
know
at
what
the
they're
eye
talking
level of the
I know.
observer.
You were going to think. I know.
So if he's looking
Because
straight.
they keep
you
dragging you
get
off
that
topic.
window,
Just get them on one
horizon
simple
is
point.
always at the
But they're
eye level.
re-dragging the to a different
Okay,
context, and he's
sure.
falling for it because he's
when
knowledgeable.
that space shuttle hits
Strangely
the
enough,
horizon,
his knowledge base is
now we
working
know that
against
space shuttle is
I
7
think.
miles up.
Because it's not strategic.
Because we know where the passenger plane was. Okay,
Yes.
sure. Okay.
Right. So that's a measuring stick. Yeah? So I extended the measuring stick up. Yeah. I took the video, right, and the snapshots of the trajectory, right, and put all the snapshots together to get the accurate trajectory. And it curved under 70 miles.
Yes.
Right? Now,
Because, okay, let me explain a really key principle of rocket science. In order to get into
Sorry, you guys are still
orbit,
blocking, sorry,
you need to
that
go
camera.
sideways really fast.
Indeed.
He's filming.
Not up. You need to go sideways really fast. That's why it curves. So,
they're not in the atmosphere.
yes, you start going right in the atmosphere. You start
If
hitting
you get to 70 miles, you don't go any higher. Yeah? Okay? Because remember, the Kármán line is 100 miles.
Yes.
Right? 70 miles up, so you don't get any higher because, again, the curve starts going down now. Yeah?
You realize if I shot a gun at, like, if I shot something at enough speed, just straight that way, and it hit nothing, it would be in orbit.
That's Newton's
Well, no, obviously
cannon.
he doesn't believe that
That's
because he doesn't
Newton's
think the Earth is
cannon,
round.
right? And that's Newton's cannon.
There's
the
never
thought
been
experiment.
shown. There's never been
Right.
shown.
There are several problems with that idea. Okay.
You don't believe in escape in orbital velocity?
No, that's
No, of course
a
he doesn't
bullshit
because he thinks he has.
Okay.
Seriously.
Did you-
I
do you
think
mind?
you're the most.
Do you
No, I
mind?
do, man. I'm trying to say for a second. I think you're the most knowledgeable guy around here. Okay. However, strategically, you're
Right.
falling into their trap.
No, you're
Stick
right.
them on
we're
red.
not, it's not, it's science,
Height of the
pure
stars.
science.
I've got them on
the
the
horizon.
height of the stars. Okay. He's admitted that if the height of the stars above the Earth isn't, say, a couple of 100,000 feet, 100 miles, then his theory's got a fundamental problem with it. I've kicked back in by talking about Doppler effect, and redshift, which we have measured. He has said that
You measured. So you measured.
No.
Oh no, we measured. You said it.
Technically, you got me on sophistry. The position that we represent.
Your religion represents.
My religion
Your
has apparently measured,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Now, given that our guys seem to have data that you haven't yet seen, I'd like to do you the courtesy of showing you that data so you can explain to us. Because
As I
our model,
said,
what's your
It's
test?
something I haven't looked at
Okay,
yet.
so until you have, is it possible you
And you are hanging on to because it's the only thing you can
I'm
hang
not-
on to.
No, it's not the
like
only
a
thing.
dog with
No, it's the central thing that exists that is uncontroversial.
Okay, so there's a lot of video out there of from space, from the ISS, from
Still
various
blocking
different
it.
satellites.
Still blocking
What
it.
do you say to all that footage?
Okay.
Just
we
that
find,
line.
When we studied
don't block it.
Yeah.
Okay.
we
Well,
find
you are.
mistakes.
Go here. Go that side.
Green screen.
Good idea.
There's one famous one with three astronauts, 3 or 4 astronauts, in front of the camera doing their little thing, right? And they say, okay, thank you very much. The event has ended. And all of a sudden, that particular video layer with them and a few items in the foreground starts to glitch. Yeah? Literally the shape of the 3 men, right? All the colours start to meld in, including a green colour that wasn't in the background. Okay, it's a green screen glitch. I found drips dropping from in the background. There's a video of a Dutch astronaut floating to a panel, unscrewing a screw and dropping it, and you can hear it clattering around, and him searching around on the floor for it. Yeah? In the Chinese space station, right? We've seen all the little jokes of the water in a ball and go, oh, right? Yeah? There's a glass of water sitting on there, level. Right? There's mistakes. You look for them.
He's obviously not going to go for it. Like, he's not going to explain.
Just stick to the one point.
The register.
Just stick with one point.
Yeah, but he's not
The
going
one
to go for it.
point,
He's not going to
the
go
one point I said I don't know anything about.
Okay, so I want to.
So leave it.
No. That's
Because-
why. No, we found an area where you're ignorant. Let us pursue that from you.
Oh, for crying
So
out
why
loud.
score it?
Listen, because I can't
Okay, so why? Okay, that's just for this. Why would they fake it?
Just
Why
concentrate
would they?
on the horizon and why the eye level always goes to the horizon.
When you're ready.
The horizon, the eye level always goes to the horizon. Think of that. Just think of that. Forget all this other shit about the using.
Don't let him shift you.
There's a good
That's the key thing. If they can get that right, that's it. It's done.
Why the lie? It matters. There's a lie. Why?
It's okay. Let me have you answer that one. Why? What is the purpose? Like,
Okay.
if they were lying, what would it serve? What purpose would it serve?
So, if you take the Ball Earth theory, the theory of evolution, and the Big Bang
Oh, you don't
theory.
believe in evolution either?
No,
Are
I
you
don't.
getting even more
Let me,
distracted?
Okay,
let
all
me-
right. Just
sorry.
I'm trying to answer
yeah,
why.
you're right.
I'm trying to answer, but if you can stay out of it while I'm answering this man's question.
Because he's an easier hit.
No,
he's more knowledgeable
he's
than
listening.
that.
He's
Yeah,
listening.
He's
not
not being in a
interrupting
religion
me.
as well.
Walk him away from the central
He's not
topic.
He asked me the
discussing
question.
evolution.
Did you not ask me the question?
Yeah, you're heading into evolution.
Right.
No, I'm not. I was
You
just
gave him
I'm
the
briefly
question to
shocked.
come
My
in.
bad. All right, sorry. Go ahead. What's the purpose? Just like we'll go back to it. But like, what's the purpose?
He's trying to distract. He's stuck in the diving.
No, you asked the question. I'm
yeah,
not
go
distracted. I'm answering the question.
I
Right.
understand. It's
So,
a religion under attack.
with those three
really
theories,
hurts.
right?
No, not at all.
makes a
Not
religion.
really.
The global one is a religion.
I've got
Clinging
far
to a speck of dust.
far
in
bigger
a-
fish
it's
to
not
fry than
really
worrying
going
about
in.
this silly.
It's a religion. There's no creator.
tell.
All happened by accident. Yeah. You have no purpose. You're less than worthless because there's millions of other planets. There's millions of other people around and all that stuff. yeah?
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Right. If for a small group of people, right, to enslave 7 billion people, right, you need to first psychologically weaken them. And that's what this does. It psychologically weakens them.
Some seems not have distracted, thousands, millions of people who are religious.
Sorry, second?
There's millions of people who are religious. It doesn't seem to have distracted them.
Unfortunately, though, in the back of everyone's psyche is this idea that we don't have a purpose. So, powerful people on this earth, right, give us a purpose. You know what that purpose is? Do well at school, get a good job, earn lots of money, get meaningless crap until you die.
How far away
That's the
from the
purpose.
point have you now let them take you?
Okay,
Because he asked a question. He asked a question.
Into semantics and conspiracy theories instead of trying to stick with the hard science.
He asked a question.
Just had it.
We see too far.
My bad. It's
just keep to that then.
We see too far for me.
End of.
Okay, no, I get it, but it's enjoyable. But unfortunately, when he plays back on camera, he's actually doing a rather good job.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, and you can't have that, can you?
No, you do the best job you can, but you want
Oh,
to
for
be
crying
tested
out
as
loud.
well
No,
as
you just said it. You just said it all.
Here's
How
my
can you
question.
step back?
No, I'm engaged in this. I came here to discuss with you.
Yeah, because you
So
want to
here's
make sure I don't look
Good,
good.
you had better things to do.
question.
Okay.
What's your test of a good theory? Because I'll
Listen,
tell you mine. What's your
I'm,
test of a good theory?
I was actually talking to this guy,
I know,
and he
because
sounds
you-
good.
No, I thought we were having an open forum here.
Oh, no, this guy just wants to try and...
No, I want to focus your attention on what constitutes a solid thinking whole. What's your test of a good theory? How do you define a good theory?
Testable, repeatable.
Testable and repeatable.
Yeah, there's another word, I can't remember what it is.
We actually agree. I think testable and repeatable.
What? Falsifiable.
Right, testable, repeatable, falsifiable, and self-consistent. So you don't believe?
Are you making that one up?
No, I'm not making that up. No, that absolutely has to be in the mix. Self-consistent. Do you not buy the premise of self-consistency?
Well, if that's self-consistent
upside
based
down.
on assumptions, right, then,
Everything is based on assumption.
well, then nothing could be self-consistent, can it?
Water's level. You don't have to assume that, mate. Water is level. You're talking around in circles here. Water is level, and that's a fact. And we can measure it in your bottle, we can measure it in a lake, and we can measure it over the ocean. So, slam dunk your globe, your spinning ball. You don't want to talk about curvature over the water. You want to come here and straw man bullshit. Bring me water curving. Bring me water curving and bring me the spinning earth. You can't believe it, but your religion is under attack, my friend. Your religion is attacked.
Listen,
That's a good premise to start. Observation, measure, test, repeat.
if I got
That's the same reason ice floats in a cloud.
if I got clear
Ice
hose,
is and
yeah,
ice,
filled it
right?
with
Ice
water, yeah,
and water.
mark
Ice
the
is a
level
mass.
here.
It floats up because
you
it
what
is
was
the good thing.
lighter than water.
Shifted. You keep shifting ground
No,
from the
because you're
basic
laughing,
axiom.
you're laughing at what...
Can't get over level water, pal. You're still in the shallow end. We're wasting time on redshift and yellow shift and brown shift. Wasting time. Earth is flat, man. Water is level. There is no curvature to water.
Is that what you're saying?
And if that continues a mile long,
Well, show me curving water. He doesn't want to talk about it, but water is level over any lake. Have you ever seen in Saudi Arabia, they got that, they made that like mini Earth, where they got like, where you can go and live on these little islands they made to look like the Earth. You ever seen that? The oceans are flat, bro. They got all our bodies of water that we can measure are level. All our bodies of water are level and flat. But then people don't want to face up to it.
Okay, so now we're into the field called epistemology.
Are you on the top? Are you on the top? No. On the ball? No, I mean, are you on the top of the ball? Me and you now?
I don't want to be on the camera.
Okay, sorry. Are you and me now? Me on the top of the ball. What about inside? What did you do? I see you do this. I see you do this. Sorry, no, I'm filming me.
Yeah?
Me.
Oh, okay. Okay, so...
Yeah, so...
Yeah?
So, you and me...
On the surface of the Earth.
On the surface of the Earth. Who's underneath?
Underneath, I mean, if you... like UK, Australia, and Antarctica would be right at the bottom. If you go, you will still be standing on the surface.
So when you come from South Africa, are you flying up the side of the ball?
It is still flying, but it will start to curve, and it's because of the gravity and because the Earth is so big. It doesn't really look like you're just kind of like.
That's what I was taught to say as well. But what if
I think that would make more sense. Like it's a gravity center.
No, what would make more sense?
It wouldn't make any sense.
Have you seen an example of a globe? Answer me this, because what makes more sense to me is a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Is a lake.
Okay.
Yeah, with flat water, and there's something around it to keep it in. That's what I see in reality. Show me one example.
Like,
show me one example of a globe which is holding water underneath.
I mean, how would you
explain
other planets like in the sky? Planets, if you have like very powerful cameras, if you very zoom in, you can spot Saturn or Mars or even like Moon.
Yeah.
How can you?
I've done that.
How can you explain those?
Those are electromagnetic lights. They are energetic.
So those are lights. You say?
See, rocks don't float, bro.
What about Moon?
Rocks don't float.
What about Moon?
Rocks don't float. It's a light.
That's also light.
A light.
So that's not like a solid object.
No.
Even
rocks don't float. In reality, have you ever thrown a rock up and it stayed in the air?
But that would be the gravity of Earth.
Oh.
But the Moon is far away, and it's like locked in the gravity of the sun.
These are
that's why.
Yeah. These are the excuses that we're all told to give to what we see. But I'm actually asking you in reality, not in your imagination.
So there's
because
point. Like above the surface, once you escape or go up beyond that point, then you're free from falling.
From falling, yeah.
So you kind of like float in space.
Have you ever done that?
I've seen it. Like,
have you done it?
Personally, I mean, I would love to do it if
That's
I'm given the opportunity.
Yeah, of course you haven't done it, so you don't know. What I suggest to you is that when you see someone on TV doing that, it's a magic trick.
So how come, so say if it's flat Earth and we are like on the top or living on the surface, what's like beneath that?
I don't know.
So you can't even explain that either?
No, I don't need to.
So how like people are not living the other side of it then?
Because they'd fall off.
So then,
you see, if I had a table and I told you you can either eat your dinner on top of the table or underneath the table with your plate up that way, what do you think you're going to say? That's stupid.
No.
That's stupid, right? That is stupid.
That would be the gravity of the Earth, right?
Huh?
That would be the gravity of the Earth. You wouldn't be...
You wouldn't know you were upside down.
But I mean, if the table did not have legs, it would just fall. It's the same thing can be applied to flat Earth. Then what is it like it's holding? And what is the gravity underneath? Like
no, well, we don't necessarily have to say we know the answer to that.
Like round circle or sphere planet would make more sense than flat Earth. If anyone like think about it.
So, but make more sense because you've seen something like that in nature.
If we take off,
give me an example of one thing in nature. Give me an example of one thing in nature. No, other than you're presupposing the globe. Give me it. So you can't presuppose the globe for this answer. Give me an example of one fruit or vegetable.
That's too small.
You haven't.
Because it's the mass of the object that creates the gravity.
In science,
it has to be.
Okay, well you haven't heard what I'm going to say to you.
Well, sorry, go on.
I'm not talking about gravity now.
Okay.
Give me one fruit that doesn't have a skin.
The gyroscope
That doesn't have a
works
skin.
in our method.
One fruit, like an orange or something, that grows its fruit on the outside of the skin.
Outside of the skin. I mean, to be honest, I've seen fruits.
No, they be
Like by
peeled.
nature, sometimes it happens.
They peel.
Not
They peel.
Without
when you're
skin.
You know it. Don't lie to me. You know it that everything has a skin. If I took the skin around the bark of the tree,
generally, yeah,
the
it
tree
has.
will die.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I peel the orange will dry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
So why in nature would this not have a skin? Why would God create a world in which its fruit couldn't be protected inside the skin?
Yeah.
And so I say there has to be a skin. Thermodynamics science demands that there has to be a container if you want pressure.
Yeah.
You have to have a container for pressure to build up, and that's what we see. So, is there something like water above, like the Bible says? Maybe. I don't know. And I'm not making claims. I'm not here to make claims about what the earth might be. I'm telling you that it's not a globe. That we live inside a globe, inside an orange. We are maybe, if you cut that orange open like this and you look inside.
So do you think has anyone like reached the age of the earth?
Were you listening to me? You cut the orange open at the equator. Look inside. What do you see? A little star pattern with seeds. If I made that orange 20 trillion times bigger, those seeds would look like islands or continents.
Yeah.
That's nature showing you itself. Right there. Show me an example of nature. Sorry. Show me. You're a dick. Show me an example of nature.
You don't need to use language.
No, but he's been like, every time he loves to touch me, that guy. I think he's a little bunny. Show me an example in nature of water working its way up the side of the outside of a globe. You know, for a tree to raise water, it has to squeeze and pump it up to get the water up, right? And then it fills it up and makes an apple. And that apple eventually gets too heavy for the tree and it breaks and falls back down the ground. So the apple, the tree lifted the water, and then it fell back down the ground. That's all that is. Things go up, hot things rise, cold things sink. Yeah? That's all we've got. We live in an up and down system. Hot goes up, cold goes down. And anyway, and the further you go down, the hotter it gets again. The further you go up, the colder it
I
gets.
respect your opinion, but unfortunately I can't agree with
You don't
that.
have to agree with me. Just know that you can't measure curvature over water, and if you think that I'm wrong, prove it to me. Come back here next week and tell me you found curvature over water. But you won't, because I looked for years, and there's no curvature over bodies of
So
water.
it's okay. You can.
As I said, final point, because Earth is too big, that's why it will look flat on the surface. If you go like high enough, you will start to see the curve.
Yeah, so according to scientist Neil deGrasse Tyson, humans have never been high enough to see the curve of Earth. You can't get high enough.
International Space Station, the rockets, and the satellites, Google Earth.
Okay, so when you get home, Google satellites in space. Every image you will have is only a cartoon. It's not a photograph of someone saying, there goes our satellite, boom, in space. No. Satellites they do a little bit of our data, but most of the data that we get today goes undersea cable. Whoa. So satellites that we have are using helium balloons to stay at 200,000 feet for 6 months. That's how I've been doing it for 50 years. That's the satellite program. Rockets go up to about 80 kilometers high, and then they come back down into the ocean. The ISS is done by 3 things. One, the Vomit Comet plane gives them the 0G for 45 seconds, and they film a clip. They use layering, blue screen type layering, to layer in technology so that they can appear to be doing things in weightlessness. But we've seen things fall.
One other assumption that you made earlier that got me interested. How, can you explain, the planets in the space? You said those are the only lights.
The luminaries, like the ancients said, these are lights. These are energy points. And the wandering stars are like Pluto, Mercury, Venus, Mars. Those are on their own track, just like the sun is on its own track, and the moon. And then the main stars, like the constellations, the 12 constellations, they are fixed, like a mirror ball or like a disco ball.
So you're saying these planets are only lights?
Yes, and that's when you look under a powerful camera. That's all you see. You see there's no mass. You see only light flickering. That's what you see, a repeating light pattern. When you look under a telescope that's got software in it, that software will render you an image that looks like NASA.
You said because of the atmosphere.
That's what we're told. But actually, it looks like the same pattern that's happening again. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, and you see that same star, you see the same repeating pattern. And these patterns, by the way, match what we see when we took a frequency.
For argument's sake, so for instance, you discover, like say tomorrow, that Earth is fair. how would you justify, your comment that you've made today? What would you say?
What would you say if you found out it was flat?
And I was saying, I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize. I believed it was a globe for 47 years.
That's what I would say. Sorry, I was wrong. But what would you say to that? Like, if you really find out that
it's not. It is a sphere like well, then I would, if there was great evidence that showed me that water was, we lived on a globe, then yeah, I'd say, okay, you're wrong. But science, observable science, testable science, measurable science says that our water bodies are level, and we can't measure any moving of this earth. The only thing that moves sometimes is the air, but otherwise the earth is not moving at all. And I've looked, back in the 1800s they were doing interferometer experiments, and for 30 years the best French and British scientists did these interferometers. They were trying to prove the earth is moving. They had to fail, they couldn't prove it. Our sun is smaller than the earth, of course it is. The sun is a small light. It's a small light.
I don't want to go into what shape it is, and it's not a complete sphere.
Well, I can see a round thing. Whether it's a ball or not, I don't really.
Behind it, it's not a complete sphere, and it's smaller than the earth.
I suggest because I sun gaze.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
Have you lived in the United States?
I've visited there a few times. I traveled all the states. But you know what? I traveled from the East Coast to the West in 1988 and back again.
Are you English?
Here's the thing, well, by South African race. But here's the thing. When I left the East Coast at sea level and I got to the West Coast at sea level, I'd gone up by 1,000 meters and then I descended by 1,000 meters. That makes sense on a flat Earth, but not on a globe, because there should be a whole amount of bending of this thing. That should have meant I'm going to.
Strange anomaly.
Good luck, brother.
I heard it's a strange anomaly from when you're on either the bottom of South America, like Argentina or South Africa, and you're analysing the Southern Cross.
Yeah.
You know when the Southern Cross, it basically, the Southern Cross, basically, even that
Point south.
when it goes up and down to the equinox, they say when you analyse it of its actual passage, it tells it all. The Southern Cross of that thing. Just analyse that. Every time it goes up and
Why don't scientists?
I won't go into the flat Earth because it's a bit touchy. I've got my understanding of it. I just give my understanding of it, but I won't give a definite. I won't give an actual 100%. Only thing is that there's been lasers. People's been on actually the sea, and when it's been calm, they've done lasers from one point to the other. It doesn't demonstrate a curve. When you have a powerful laser, it shouldn't be able to reach the other. It's the most basic one.
Americans got a railgun. They shoot a ship from ship to ship at sea level for 100 miles, and that thing's going line of sight. It's not curving. It's not doing anything. It's 15 miles.
Yeah, that's the most basic one. That's the basic one.
And so for me, it's not so much. Okay, so the Earth is not what we've been told it is. But why?
And also, I really like talking about this too much, but even the dynamic of the geography, it's very. I tell you how they've done it though. I must say the way they've engineered it for us to think how the Earth is, we're more surrounded by the actual the Antarctic. We're more surrounded by it, and it's a very high. They don't like people going there because if you follow it on a boat, it's just a very high fucking weird wall. And what's strange about it is when there's actually trips arranged to go there, there's always been something to stop it. Because even before COVID, there's a big trip arranged by a lot of millionaires, a lot of celebrities to go there, and then COVID just comes up, and then all of a sudden people can't go there. It's a bit strange, but what I do believe though, I do believe the leaders, they have a foot on the neck by a primordial family that is way above them.
Alright, that's interesting.
So I don't really blame the leaders for being lying and stuff. They just got their foot on the neck by.
They have no choice, no option. They're
I get it.
I kind of have sympathy with that idea.
I get it. Like it is what it is.
I like truth though, and so I think it's we are called to kind of go and speak truth.
The truth is when people threaten people's families or they kill people's family members, people put the truth behind closed doors. But at the same time, I'm not 100% on anything because I've not brought any of my scientific equipment anywhere. Well, you know what the easiest thing to do is just get some powerful balloons and then just go with ships close to the, you know, southern hemisphere, and then go up.
What, into Antarctic?
No, just go. No, not into the Antarctic. You just go up and then film down. This basic experiment, as in, don't take a ship off Argentina, take a ship off South Africa, just send up a whole load of ship, a whole load of balloons, and just have them just take a whole load of 360, have about, I don't know, 20 cameras on different 360 views, just have it, just flash, just synchronize and then analyze it from there.
Yeah, well, we've got some high altitude stuff, and it all looks pretty flat from up there. And this Frenchman called Picard went up there in the 1800s, and when he came back, he said he went up in a gondola to 10 miles. Highest human ever. So I went up there and looked flat from up there. So, and I, you know, at the end of the day, water's level, bro. You know, any lake you want to find me, when it sits still, it's level.
But I think it leads to many other things, though. It leads to many things.
It's about what God is and who you are.
Yeah, and it's a very touchy subject, because I think it also deals with the atmosphere, and some people are saying the atmosphere is not completely gas, some part of it gets solid.
Solid, yeah.
You see, at some point it gets very condensed, as in, it might not be what you think of an actual solid like this, but it gets to a point where the gas gets so condensed, hypothetically speaking, I believe it can cause things not to go through it, but I'm not sure. I've not had my scientific equipment to go and look.
Hey, you got all the scientific you need, bro, right here in the Temple of God. This is all you need.
I'll be honest, it's not enough. I'll be honest. I wouldn't give myself a illusion of grandeur to think I'll be able to understand the world without traveling and seeing.
That's because you've been subjugated by, you know, indoctrination that had you believe you are less than being everything that's okay.
No, but I have to travel. You have to understand, as a true science teacher, you have to travel and see the.
I'll give you that. Explore it.
Yeah, I couldn't just sit there and just say, right, I know what that is and I know what that is, if I don't travel there and see for myself. I couldn't give myself that illusion of grandeur.
Oh, well, I say to people, we are at the center of the universe. Each of us is the hub of the wheel. You know, each of us is carrying the light of Christ, you see, and that light should be given full opportunity to burn brightly, but in this system it wants to kind of damp that down, whether it's because, like you said, the ruling families have been put under pressure, or there's a soul journey that's trying to test you or prevent you from reaching the next level. What happened to your chin?
Oh, I had a surgery, keloid removed, and then I've got another surgery coming up to remove the rest of the debris.
No, not nice.
Yeah, it is what it is, bro.
Yeah, good luck, bro. I gotta get me some water.
I'm gonna stand back and try this.
Please, yeah. Hey Nick, have you learned some interesting things?
Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm not entirely convinced, but having said that, I've learned a lot that I didn't know before, so I'm really glad.
Awesome. That's good.
It's a tremendous people.